How long should I let my ads on Facebook and Instagram run before changing them? This is a really good question. If you're running ads on Facebook and Instagram, hopefully you're doing it not by running a boost or something like that, but you're actually going into Ads Manager and you're running them. And one of the things you want to pay attention to when you're looking at the data is, one, that your ads have gotten out of the learning phase, which depending on the type of ad you're running, typically it's going to need a certain number of interactions with that ad before it's out of the learning phase. And that's what allows Google's algorithm or Meta's algorithm to really put that ad in front of the best audiences for you and get the most performance. So short answer, and then I'll move into a little bit more detailed answer, is you want to let your ads run long enough to get out of the learning phase. Because if you're never running any of your ads long enough to get out of the learning phase, you're never really getting the full advantage of running ads on Meta, if you will. So, and it'll tell you, if you look at Ads Manager, when you're looking at the ad, it'll tell you in the status if it's learning or if it's active. If it's saying learning, it means it's still part of that learning phase, and it could use a little bit longer of running the ad to break through that learning phase and get into the normal period of time. The other thing you can look at is the impressions versus the reach. The impressions are the total number of people that have seen your ad. Reach is going to be the number of unique individuals that have seen your ad. So let's say your reach was 10,000 and your impressions was 20,000. That would mean that you've actually reached 10,000 individuals with your ad, and on average, they've seen it basically twice, if you will, on average. Some of them may have seen it 3 times, some of them may have only seen it once, but on average, they've seen it twice, because 10,000 unique people have seen it, but the overall impressions is 20,000, which means an average of 2. Now, you want to look at your ad from a standpoint of when that number starts getting out of reach, like people start seeing it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, the ad starts getting stale and it starts not working as well. However, when you're running your ad and maybe that's only at 1.2, 1.5, typically, you could potentially still get more traction out of the ad. So answering a specific question with how long should I let my ads run, it's hard to say, because, it depends on how quickly it gets through the learning phase and what that differential is between, reach and impressions, and then how the ad's doing. If the ad's doing really well, if you check the ad, let's say you've been running an ad for 10 days, but then you look at a snippet of the last 3 days, and in the last 3 days, it's actually been working better than it was the prior 7 days. Like it's getting more clicks, or it's getting a better click-through rate, or it's getting more conversions, or whatever you're running your ad for. It would be silly to turn that ad off just because it's run for 10 days. You may be just hitting stride with that ad, and you may be going into a period of time where the ad's going to really produce well for you. So just going by an arbitrary, I'm going to let the ads run for 10 days and then turn them off, seems silly, because you may miss out on some opportunities. So to answer that question, you really got to look at the data and see how your ad's doing, see what the frequency is, see how many times people have seen the ad, see how the ad's performing, see if the ad is still in the learning phase, and take all those things into consideration on whether you're going to allow the ad to continue to run or shut it down. If the ad's not performing, even if it's not out of the learning phase, but it's already, you can tell it's not performing well, there's no reason to continue to let it run and continue to have it use money out of your budget if you can already see that it's not running. On the flip side of that, if you have an ad that's maybe, it's the frequency, the number of times people have seen it is high and it's been running for a while, but it's still continuing to perform, and the most recent data from the last 3, 4, 5 days show that it's performing as well or better than it even did earlier in the ad campaign, there's no reason to shut that ad off just because it's been running for a while. You really have to look at the data as far as when to tell you an ad's run its course versus setting up a new one, or to let an ad continue to run.